What major changes are we about to see occur, not just in the United States, but globally due to the new administration in place in the United States of America? Will Greenland, perhaps even Canada, become a part of the U.S. in the future? And will the Trump administration put an end to the conflicts that are happening in the Ukraine and Russia? Or are those conflicts about to escalate like never before? Most importantly, will the DT administration make our economy great again? Or is our economy going to collapse on the Trump administration's watch? And even more importantly, will Donald Trump actually survive his second term in office? You may be shocked by the answers that I provide for you today. And what other major events are going to happen on the Trump administration watch? So much to discuss, friends, and so many amazing events that are about to take place globally. This is my Trump administration predictions for 2025 and beyond. So many folks seemed concerned, while many others seemed very excited about this new administration stepping into the White House. Already, DT has fulfilled many of his campaign promises, something that's actually quite rare for politicians once they step into their powerful positions. It's very rare that we ever see them fulfill their promises one after another. But one promise that he has yet to fulfill is getting to the bottom of the drone and the UAP invasion that spread from New Jersey across multiple states. Activity, by the way, that is still happening over Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Even though the media may not be talking about it anymore, it's definitely still happening. Because recently, I showed y'all pictures my buddy Mike in Croydon, Pennsylvania took, which he stated appeared as if they were coming from McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey, which is likely very plausible. Another friend of mine with intel said that these are not drones, but they're actually UFOs. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. So why is it that DT has yet to tell us absolutely anything more about this strange sky activity we've been seeing since late November and especially in December of 2024? Well, as I told you all in the past, it would be extremely unlikely that he would even be allowed to tell us once he steps into the White House, which seems to be the case so far. I also told you that if they were to tell us anything at all, it would still be a continued cover-up. One government cover-up after another, at least for now, friends, just for now. This would also likely validate my feelings that they are actually looking for something. Some of these drones, perhaps maybe even a dirty explosive of some sort. At the same time, if we go back to my November forecast released on October 30th, 2024, Spirit told us to keep our eyes to the skies, especially in early December, as we would see increased activity, just exactly as we have witnessed and the folks in Pennsylvania and New Jersey have been witnessing since early December. Making matters even more interesting, friends, is the fact that many will recall that back in my September, October, around that period of time, Spirit told us that there were galactic beings heading towards the Earth and that we would actually see signs of their arrival in December. Interesting. And it was not just the so-called drones either, but so many other bizarre orb-like and sky activities occurring across the globe in December. Just again, as predicted and as Spirit warned us. What we have, in accordance to past predictions, is a combination of galactic beings that are pulling off sky phenomena to alert us of their arrival, just like Spirit told us back in September, October. While the United States government at the same time, or the secret government, unleashes these drones across the country. And Spirit told us that the government was very aware of this incoming fleet of galactic ships. And therefore, just hypothetically speaking here, friends, think about this. Beings that they knew that these were heading towards the Earth, and they knew they were heading likely towards New Jersey, but all over the country, all over the world, actually, with all this strange phenomena. So think about this. The government's onto that. They know they're coming. So why not push out this drone activity just to confuse the hell out of us all? To bring out fear and make people afraid of these objects in the sky. Remember, these dark entities feed on our fear. And when the only ones that we really should be fearing is the ones who really launched these drones from the Earth. Not those who traveled through the stars and through time and space to reach our planet. Definitely not, shouldn't be afraid of those ones. It's the ones that are already here and the ones that have been here for quite some time. We also see Trump's push, along with Elon Musk, of course, to go to Mars. Something I personally truly believe has already been done. I told you this a few years back, and they have already been doing this, along with the creation of the Space Force by Trump during the last administration. The future Earth, when humanity actually ascends completely into that quantum levels of Christ consciousness, we're not going to need ships to explore Mars. We're not going to need ships to explore other planets or stars either. Because when we reach that quantum level of ascension in that Christ consciousness, we will actually be able to project our consciousness to pretty much anywhere in the universe that we wish to do so. So they're just wasting billions of dollars of our hard-earned tax money and the money that the techies basically stole from us all. Billions of dollars that are being pumped into space and space travel when that money, that time, and that energy could all be focused on fixing our planet, fixing the hunger, the famine, the homelessness, and all the other issues that could be fixed with those billions of dollars. Trump is going to make a huge announcement when it comes to space travel, and also revealing secret hidden information about our own moon. We're also going to see discoveries of new galaxies, planets, and soon Trump is going to have to explain, along with many other global leaders, why we are suddenly seeing two suns in our skies. Now, that's going to be an interesting topic for sure. So much is about to be addressed while so many conspiracies will soon be revealed as complete truth. We're now seeing DT fulfill his promise, almost. We're not quite there yet, but fulfilling his promise of releasing the JFK and the MLK files. And now we're finding out a bunch of truth about the Martin Luther King incident and the involvement that Martin Luther King had with the FBI. And the potential of flags being flown ever so falsely on that day in 1968. I think it was 1968. Yeah, very interesting. So much is going to come out. It's going to be quite exciting. But at the same time, will anything come out of this? Will anything be done about that? That's the bigger question. Other than awakening more of the masses to the truth, the government's history of lies and corruption is just going to continue. And we are going to awaken to that. That's what it's all about. Awakening to the truth of the darkness on the planet. That is the true Aquarian age. And soon there's going to be the absolute biggest whistle blows in American history. Especially when it comes to disclosures revolved around real UFOs, galactic beings, and more importantly, the truth about dark evil entities and detachments, or even aliens who have had control. I know it sounds conspiracial. Sounds like a conspiracy, but it's not. And you're going to find out the truth. So don't be open-minded so that when this truth does come out, you don't feel salty because you rejected and resisted that truth. These truths are coming, friends. The galactic beings, the real galactic beings, and more importantly, the truth, again, about these dark entities, the aliens who have had control over humanity. That is all about to end, friends, over the next decade. And Spirit also reminded me that much of this whistleblowing is actually very well orchestrated and planned by these same groups. 2025 will be the biggest year so far for truths around all these topics. Aliens, UFOs, UAPs, dark entity attachments, fallen angels, and all these topics are on the table for 2025. It's going to be quite exciting, to say the least. Now, Not only truth about UFOs and aliens is coming about, but how about our skies becoming more and more filled with galactic beings? While governments, of course, backed by the bad aliens, pose an invasion on the good guys here to awaken us. The good guys are here to awaken us. Now, remember, they're not here to help us, per se, because they can't help us. They can only help to bring truth, wisdom, and awakening. But they can't help us. They can't come down and help you personally. That is up to you, friends. Only you can help yourself. People are constantly reaching out for this person to be a savior and this person to help and this person to help. You can only help yourself. That's what we're here to do, friends. That is part of our soul's mission and our soul's journey, is to grow and through the hard work that we do on ourselves. And these galactic beings that are here, again, they're here to assist only in the awakening process. Nothing more than that. We also are going to begin to see more events play out like we did in 2023. Do you remember 2023? How could you forget? It was in my 2023 world predictions that we were going to see major alien UFO stuff pushed out purposely by the government to change our belief system. Because 2023 was the 7-year in numerology. The 7's all about changing our beliefs. They know exactly what they're doing. And this all played out. We saw the alleged aliens that landed in Vegas and play the slot machines, the Amazon jungle aliens, and the portal that opened in Miami with aliens. Even though Spirit did tell us, and still continues to tell us, that these were also all planned events. Very well planned. And we must also be aware of the dark alien beings and dark entities here on Earth that are also the fallen angels that are spoken about in the Holy Bible. It's going to be up to us and our intuition to determine the good from the bad, at least in the beginning of these events playing out, and this is just the beginning of these events playing out. I also remind you of my past vision seeing large round spaceships above multiple cities. Now, this is something, along with alien contact, that is already beginning to unravel, friends. Very much so. And I have also had visions of a UFO-looking type of ships, round ships, shooting lasers in the past. So let's hope this never comes into fruition. But unfortunately, at this point, it's looking very plausible at this point in time. I see visions of Trump making an announcement that the government is going to pump billions of dollars into weapon warfare. Of course, feed that military machine, friends, and that military complex so that they make more money on their stocks. This time, they're going to use the excuse that this is going to be to fight these galactic threats that are coming or that are already here. Just as Ronald Reagan warned us of back when he was president in the 1980s. A threat, of course, that is going to be very well orchestrated by the global elite and three-letter agencies. Spirit tells us that there are no galactic beings that wish to actually harm humans. If that were the case, it would have happened a long time ago, other than those that are already here controlling things. Just those, again, that are currently controlling things and controlling the earth for actually many generations. And their reign of control, just like the reign of the globalists and the oligarchs, that's all about to collapse, friends. Bye-bye. Over the next few years, DT is also going to reveal some of these technologies in flying vehicles or man-made UFOs or UAPs that have been held secret by the governments for way too long, friends. This is an extremely dangerous slope for DT to embark down. If you recall, JFK was one of the ones who wanted to bring about full disclosure, and he also wanted to end the Federal Reserve. Another thing that Trump is attempting to make changes to as well, the Federal Reserve. Friends, this is why Trump's life, one of many reasons why his life is in grave danger. As we have also known and even witnessed with some of the attempts on his life before he even entered into office. One in which I predicted and I saw him being hit in the right side and putting his arm in the air that he was okay. Trump needs to rescreen all of his security detail. And he needs to make himself even safer by hiring even more. He needs to make himself the most secure president in history is what he needs to do. Because they are going to work hard. And if he does not do so, the cabal, or whatever you want to refer to them as, will succeed in taking him out. And Vance takes over. While his position is filled with, Vance's position will be filled by another swamp creature. So let's hold in the light that doesn't happen. At the same time, I did state back in 2016 that Trump would serve 2 terms in office and pass away in the 3rd year of his 2nd term, right before his birthday. So that was, at this time, I feel that the deep dark ones are actually working really hard to plan their next takeout attempt on Trump. Now, what I saw in the 3rd year of his 2nd term was alleged natural causes, which could also be poisoning, actually. So don't believe it's so natural. And when it does occur, we'll go live, of course, and discuss the details of it. At the same time, again, I feel these deep dark ones are working again really, really hard for their next takeout attempt. And in their minds, it's not an attempt. They're going to take him out. But they thought that twice already. While outside, I saw a vision of Trump outside walking. He was either walking towards his car or walking from his car, the convoy vehicle. And oddly, I feel he may be hit in the right side again, interesting enough. I don't know what it is about that right side. And this time he goes down completely from the shot. Panic sets in. Did he survive? As he's carried to safety and folks eagerly await his condition. Well, he does pull through, thankfully. He does pull through. There may be a point where Vance is actually temporarily sworn in during this whole debauchal thing that's happening. But it's only temporary in these coming 2 years before that 3rd year of his 2nd term comes to a close. Now, I said this with the Biden and Harris taking temporary oath, if you recall. I figured when I first saw a vision of Harris taking temporary oath of office, I figured it would be the very end of Biden's presidency, which obviously was not the case at all. As many of the tribe noted in the comments, Harris actually did take oath for 81 minutes when Biden had a colonoscopy. And I do believe there will be other failed attempts on Trump as well that we will likely not hear about until maybe long after these events play out, maybe a few years later, actually. So to clarify all of this again, friends, again, I see a shooting attempt on Trump's life. Trump being hit and going down, but surviving, along with other failed attempts. Also, I have a vision of Trump's funeral. I had that vision yesterday, confirming that a real presidential funeral is coming within the next few years. And if my calculation with Spirit's message from 2016 is correct, Trump is going to pass sometime in the year 2027, which also happens to be Trump's 4 personal year when it comes to numerology. A year where many people sometimes do pass. Queen Elizabeth passed in her 4 year. That's why in that year I predicted, I knew she was going to pass that year just because she was in that 4 vibration. It was either the 4 or the 9. She was going in one of them and she bypassed the 9, made it to the 4, and I knew she was going to pass. Now, there's just the 2 common numbers. People can pass in any year. It doesn't matter. But from my experience, it's very, very common. Creepy common when it comes to numerology. So I feel this next attempt on Trump's life will occur around March of 2025, April at the latest. The second window of danger for Trump will be July of this year, 2025. And I would tell Trump to stay out of the air. No aeroplanes, no helicopters in the month of July. Because it's also a retrograde, which affects travel, communications, and all kinds of other things. A breakup of countries and major changes will occur with our geography of the planet Earth and who controls different territories in different areas. Some of this is going to be due to the breaking apart of countries and nations that is brought about by major catastrophic earth shifts, quakes, and tsunamis, accompanied by some of the largest, most destructive storms over the next decade. Actually, less than a decade, actually. I see a divide and a coming together both. It was really interesting. It was a divide, but it was a coming together both. And we know that DT has his eye on Greenland. And he even talks about Canada being a part of the United States in the future. I saw in a past vision a star falling off the American flag. I didn't see new stars being added to the flag. I saw a star falling off the flag. There's a big difference there. Well, did you know now California wants to separate once again from the United States into their own country? Something that they suppose, they're putting up for vote, supposedly, allegedly, in 2028. So that would be interesting. I also see an agreement coming with Greenland that does bring the two countries, United States and Greenland, closer together. And I also see the United States building something big in Greenland in the near future. Likely, I believe this is some type of military base as a part of their future agreement. And I also feel agreements are coming with Canada and the new leader of Canada who will soon go into place. I forget the guy's name, Pierre, something like that. That's the next guy going in. And I don't see them coming together as a star on the United States flag, but I do see them coming together and some types of agreements. That'll be good and positive, almost like bringing us together as a union. Now, in past visions, I did see United States and other countries breaking up into some type of unions. 7 unions to be exact, because, they like to use that 7 sacred number, like the most referred to number in the Holy Bible, actually, 7. So I feel that this is eventually going to include all of North America and Mexico coming together in the not far off future, within maybe perhaps a decade from now, less than a decade from now, because we're moving towards new things in the new earth. And as far as the Panama Canal is concerned, and the whole debate around the Panama Canal, I addressed this in the past. And it was a few years back that I brought up the canal multiple times, actually, predicting major problems arising around the canal, including potential conflict. Something that is appearing now to be very plausible at this point, with Donald Trump bringing up that the United States wants control over the Panama Canal now. Something unheard of back when I saw these problems in visions and put those predictions out. Something unheard of, but now looks very plausible. Expect these problems at the Panama Canal to persist to the point of where trade going through the canal experiences some type of a temporary shutdown, and issues with ships eventually getting through, causing major delays. I also see some kind of new construction going on right next to the Panama Canal. I'm looking more towards the summer months, this coming summer, in July through the end of the year, for these events to start to play out along in the Panama Canal. Coming disasters is one of the other many issues Trump and his administration is going to face while in the White House in the coming years. Coming disasters that are going to hit the United States directly, like never before. I had visions of a record-breaking earthquake that shakes things up like never before. The largest on record for the United States anyway. Along with this massive record-breaking earthquakes, we're going to see a lot of smaller earthquakes that cause minimal damage. But what's going to be concerning about this is their locations being hit in activity in places that we don't normally get activity. I see some earthquakes hitting larger cities such as New York. Long Island jumps into my brain. So something big shaking up Long Island. That could even be something to do with some rogue waves hitting Long Island due to whatever's going out in the ocean there. I also see major earthquakes hitting places like Oklahoma City, Dallas, Texas, California, all the way up the West Coast, something I've been seeing for a few years, and it's been about 2 years, and some of my predictions take 2 to 3 years to play out. Means we're in a 9 personal year in numerology, a year of endings, death of cycles, and a year that could bring death and destruction. It would be more likely that 2025 would be the year for these earthquakes to start flaring up. And it's just the flare up of those earthquakes that is going to continue as we move towards 2030. And as we get closer to 2030, they're going to become much more intense. But for now, it's the next 4 years in this administration that we're focused on. And big things are happening with the Madrid fault and other things with earthquakes this year and over the next 4 years. Now, natural or perhaps not so natural, wink wink, events such as another major city fire, like we are seeing or just saw playing out in Los Angeles. Texas comes to my mind very strongly for a future wildfire burning into a city area. Kind of like a flashback to LA and Hawaii. Now, Colorado also comes to mind very strongly. Whether that Colorado thing be wildfire related or connected to some other event or multiple events. Perhaps an attack of some sort along with something else big coming around an airport in Colorado. So I'm not really clear what that was all about when I was channeling this information from my team of spirit guides, but multiple events, Colorado. Colorado, we can say now, like Texas and Florida, and as I said about LA, targeted cities. Targeted cities. You can take it from there and go down that rabbit hole on your own. I have this vision of Trump surveying the damage after a huge disaster. I had this vision last night. Now, I'm recording this on January 27th. So I had that vision last night on Sunday, January 26th. And that vision, again, was Trump surveying this huge disaster. Now, at first, I know it's along a coastline, at first in my vision. And in my vision, at first, it appeared like a major flood damage. I'm like, well, what happened here along the coast? Flood damage. So I'm going to say likely it was a tsunami wave that looks to me like flood damage because it's on a coastal area. I say this only because as my vision progressed, I saw buildings completely leveled, as if they were struck by missiles. That's what it looked like to me. It looked almost like Gaza, but even flatter than that. And this would certainly be damage from some type of a large earthquake. Now, a tsunami could do that, but just floods alone, if it was just floods, that wouldn't level buildings. A tsunami could, but not just floods. And I believe, without a doubt, it is a combination of both. And certainly the damage, of course, was from a large earthquake. My guess is that I'm on the West Coast when I was in this vision, and this is a result of multiple events hitting, earthquakes, and huge waves. Now, I didn't get necessarily a tsunami, I got huge waves. There could actually be a difference, believe it or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, it won't be just the damage from earthquakes and coastal floods and tsunamis or tsunamis. Expect to see the largest hurricane systems and other storm systems sweeping through the United States and across the globe, making people question the whole FEMA decision that Trump is making right now. Remember, he wants to get rid of FEMA. Well, when these big storms hit and there's no one there to help, it's going to have people questioning FEMA even more than ever. Storms that are going to cause great devastation to Florida, Texas, and again, both the West Coast and East Coast of the United States. Record-breaking storms, friends. To a point, as I stated in the past, they are going to eventually change storm categories. They're going to come up with a new list of hurricane storm categories. They're going to come up with a new list for the category systems of tornadoes, and the list goes on. So expect that to play out probably next year in 2026 when we see them start changing the categories of storms. Now, another past prediction that comes to mind is major volcanic eruptions hitting the United States, causing evacuations, airline cancellations, and causing some fires from this eruption. Alaska will also have a huge eruption, but this is going to be more of a sign. It's going to be symbolism of something bigger that's going to come after. Because this volcano in Alaska feels far enough away from people and far enough away from bringing any harm, other than aeroplanes. Now, as hard as this is to present the following feeling that I've had for quite some time, I'm still going to put it in here anyways, friends. I don't hold back. I tell you everything I see, everything I feel, even if I could be wrong at times. I saw DT first with tears in his eyes. That was a few weeks ago. I believe this could be related to two separate predictions. First, some type of tragedy and loss occurring around the Trump family member. Secondly, and this is the hesitant prediction here, I feel this could be related to a very huge mass casualty event occurring on Trump's watch. A mass casualty, bigger than 2001, friends, way bigger. like tens of thousands of folks. Now, in my opinion, that could only really be related to a couple potential events happening. A large explosion, which is possible. I'm thinking it's more connected to a combination of events throughout the year, especially the second part of the year. Well, actually, the mid-year from March till August, that window of time. This could also be relevant to a massive earthquake, tsunami, or other events like that coming. Let's hold in the light that that's not the case. And remember, never be scared. Always be prepared. And be mindful of what's going on in your life and in your surroundings. Because these coming events and these earth events are also, of course, going to give the globalists more reasons to push for global initiatives and other climate-related laws and regulations and tracking mechanisms. Spirit warned us to be aware, remember? And it won't be so much Trump as it will be those that he surrounds himself with. Something Spirit told us during his first term. And right now, it's quite concerning that he is surrounding himself with all these big techies and even having meetings with people like Gates. Very concerning. So what about FEMA? Many people may be asking. Well, this brings me to the recent call from Trump to rid the nation of FEMA. But would that really actually happen? And could that actually happen? Certainly not, friends. Not going to happen. Let me tell you why. First of all, they stuck billions and billions of dollars way back during the old man Bush administration, or was it young Bush? One of them, maybe it was baby Bush. Billions and billions of dollars into building. It was old man Bush, actually. Yeah, and then the Obama administration. Building these FEMA camps all across the country, friends. And that's not a conspiracy. That's a fact. You can look it up for yourself. So much of that was used, much of those billions of dollars was used to build these FEMA camps across the country. Camps that are still sitting there unused. Although they built them for a reason, right? What was that reason? They've been sitting there for decades unused. They don't build things and put billions of dollars into something if they don't plan on using it eventually. A reason we have yet to discover, and hopefully we don't discover it anytime soon because I really don't want to know. Yes, FEMA definitely seems to be failing. Especially when it came to our friends down there in North Carolina, and even back when Hurricane Katrina hit back in the Bush administration. Speaking of Bushes, they seem to be doing more things wrong than they are doing things right. After decades of existence and still one failure after another. That is all about to change, friends. That is all about to change, and DT is going to be the one, or his administration is going to be the one to initiate these major changes revolved around this, but not until we see several other huge FEMA failures in the coming year. FEMA is going to be a big topic in 2025, friends. In turn, something different is going to go into place, backed by FEMA and backed by the Trump administration. And they're going to use, of course, some type of AI technology to advance the FEMA system. Which could be good, but it also could be really friggin' creepy. Speaking of artificial intelligence technologies, you are certainly aware by now of this supposed $500 billion, what a ridiculous amount of money, going towards artificial intelligence programs for the United States. A program that they are calling Stargate. Did you know the original Stargate project by the three-letter agency that begins with a C was all about the exploration of psychics and remote viewers? Now, we also know about Stargate the movie and Stargates that take us through different dimensions or even back in time. So why would you name an artificial intelligence program Stargate? Sounds quite confusing if you ask me. Now, how does that even make any sense? It really doesn't. We all know what Stargate is, again, and if you want to go down that rabbit hole on your own, well, please do. I highly recommend it. It's quite educational and quite like jumping into a mystery type of scientific world of truth. Now, interesting enough, Spirit told us a while back that AI would help to cure cancer. Remember that prediction? Even though we already know for a fact that there are many cures that exist. And how do we know? Well, there's a patent on one of them for sure. There's a patent on a cure for the big C, and there's a patent for the cure of Alzheimer's disease. Cures that have been suppressed. You can go look it up yourself, friends. Go look up the patent. You can Google it. You'll find it. Now, they know they cannot hide any of this stuff from us for much longer. The cures, the natural medicines, they know. The internet went against what they wanted by educating us and helping us to learn things that we weren't able to learn before, like different natural cures and remedies. So now they want to profit, of course, as much as they possibly can, and they want to do it by profiting off our health. Like, perhaps even making more health issues appear so that they can make more money. And now they want to design a specific shot that's supposed to go in and help you to eliminate the big C? No, thank you. I don't want a prevention. I want a cure. Forget the prevention. Preventions you make millions and billions and trillions of dollars off of. I want a cure, thank you. A natural cure. And we already know. Again, go down that rabbit hole on your own, friends. They know technology is already way too smart in their hands. That's the stuff that they hide from us. Way too smart. They have AI that is sentient, that feels. Remember the guy from Google that quit his job? That's now deceased because he said that they created a sentient being. They also know when it reaches our hands, and it eventually will reach our hands as they upgrade, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, while they are working on their 5.0 for themselves. They know it's going to hit us eventually. And then when it does, they know they are going to be completely unable to hide these cures and treatments. We see them pushing out this shot. Again, that will allegedly prevent the big C. While again, ignoring the whole idea of a cure. Because they know that the cures are natural and they can't patent natural medicine. That's what it's all about, friends. Because they are just set to make trillions and trillions of dollars from this prevention shot. One which will likely not work anyway. Or if it does, you're going to develop all kinds of other problems and need treatments for those and cures for those problems. The cancer prevention booster, Spirit says, will backfire just like the one did back in 2020. Perhaps actually worse. As folks are actually also not going to be willing to get it. People ain't going to want that. Especially because it's got that MR stuff in it. No, thank you, friends. No, thank you. There are going to be cures on the Trump administration watch. There's going to be cures accessible to the common person for most forms of cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and even diabetes over the next 4 years. We are also going to see huge breakthroughs, and this is important when it comes to addictions, especially opiate addictions or any kind of addictions, those patterns. As more and more people are going to awaken, including those with addictions, and they're going to become more aware of the things that are blocking their true purpose and their true ascension on this planet. And they're just going to decide to wake up one day and stop. You'll see. People are already doing it. Waking up and deciding this ain't no good for me anymore. In order to truly fulfill our truest purpose and ascension, we have to do so free and clear. Free and clear. Now, I also remind you, friends, there are people that will not awaken. It's not in their soul contract to do so, and it is not your job to awaken people. Your job is to focus on you and doing the work on yourself, physically, energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. Not everybody else. Because many of these people came here to opt out and not be a part of that ascension for their soul contractual reasons. And I'm sure they'll reincarnate and come back when we're in the new earth. I know, that's probably what they're waiting for. So putting energy into all this, the addictions, that's going to be a big one. That's going to become, people are going to become more aware. Therefore, this is going to be helping people to put the energy and work into making positive changes in their lives on a personal level. And that's going to rub off, of course, for the country and for the entire globe. The overall AI thing, in my opinion, is extremely creepy. And there is definitely a sinister plan behind it all, according to Spirit, with these tech moguls. And we have to all together hold in the light that they do not get their way. That the AI to control everything we do in this gathering of tech billionaires at the inauguration, followed by Trump's visit with the Gates, that's all very bad signs, friends. And we need to hold in the light that he sees right through that. the administration sees through that, and that those who do not have the highest interests of the United States in mind drop very, very quickly, one after another. This brings me to the TikTok controversy and the more suppression of people's free speech, of course. As we ascend into consciousness and higher levels of consciousness, we are going to become more vocal. People are going to want to speak up. That's the deal, friends. And we are going to want to be heard when we speak up. And these apps and these platforms not allowing us to speak up is going to become a problem. We're going to want to stand up and fight for our freedoms of speech, if need be. And unfortunately, it's going to need to be in the future. And that's when people are really going to rise up. The courts are going to continue to block TikTok out of the country, but deals are already being made. One of those deals, of course, is being orchestrated. Take a guess, friends. Who do you think is orchestrating this deal with TikTok? I bet most of you guessed correctly. Elon Musk. Of course he is. Why? Well, of course, he sat right next to the CEO of TikTok at the inauguration, sliding himself closer and closer into making some type of a deal. A TikTok deal that will not be able, the CEO won't be able to resist. Because otherwise, if they do resist, they're going to lose billions of dollars once they're expelled from the United States of America. So there will be a sale and a transfer and all of that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see TikTok come together with the X platform. Remember, that X platform is meant to be also a pay platform, a banking system. And people might say that's conspiracy. Remember, Elon Musk is one of the founders of PayPal. He pushes Dogecoin all the time in the cryptocurrency world. And he's surrounding us with satellites that will eventually be part of the currency system and also the tracking system. The Trump administration is also going to be responsible for the largest busts, arrests, and confiscations of drugs, missing people, and other criminalities than any other previous administration. It's the 9 vibration, friends. Endings. It's time for these nasty people to end, to take their drugs and get out of our country. We're going to see conflicts that are going to erupt due to these seizures, including conflicts between gangs, cartel families, and even governments stepping in to stop the violence. More like not governments, but military. Military stepping in to stop the violence. It is also going to be on the Trump administration's watch when we see the largest truths and law enforcement raids occurring on celebrity compounds, followed by arrests, of other big leaders and politicians that I've been saying for years, and it's coming, friends. It's exciting. We're also going to see this followed up by arrests and a break in the case that's much larger than the Epstein and Diddy case. Huge exposures coming from Hollywood, including the release of disturbing tapes, both video and audio tapes. So get ready, friends. Get ready for a record amount of arrests, shocking truths unlike anything we'd imagine, and the rescue of hundreds, hopefully thousands of those caught up in traffic. Unfortunately, we are also going to witness in the United States the largest Pow Pow event taking place likely in 2025. But certainly if not in 2025, certainly during this administration's reign in the White House. It was back in 2017, if you recall, if you've been following me that long ago, that I had a vision of somebody, I say man, but I didn't know. I just saw somebody shooting from high up in a building, a big skyscraper type building, shooting down at a crowd of people. And that whole thing did play out months later in Vegas with one of the largest, I think it might have been the largest Pow Pow event in American history. Well, I feel something much bigger than that is coming, friends. And I feel like this involves some type of missionaries trying to make some type of a statement. Let's hope this doesn't happen, and especially missionary style, because otherwise this is going to send the United States right into conflict, likely with Iran. Could it be a flag that flies ever so falsely? Would not surprise me. I strongly feel that there is going to be multiple types of events that will include a big university, a sporting event, a concert or outdoor music festival, especially in July, and also in the streets of a big city. So do be mindful, friends, again, when you are out and about and around large crowds. we are going to see one of these events followed by a push, of course, for gun control and other measures that would, in turn, strip away more of our freedoms. Something that Spirit does say will not happen in this administration. Guess that's a really good thing then, wouldn't you say? On the subject of potential attacks on Americans, I see a major issue hitting around the United States when it comes to cyber attacks. Cyber attacks that feel to me like they are actually being launched from right inside our own country, friends. I had that same feeling back before the October 7th event in Israel. Same feeling, same sort of type of prediction, not around cyber threats. Of course, it was about conflict and inside attacks. This time, it's about cyber attacks. And I see a city going completely dark. And I see many outages of communications, and I feel that there is some type of a panic that follows a cyber attack. I can only imagine that this panic would be likely due to major power outage that affects communications and folks' ability to access cash and other necessities. This is why I always tell you, friends, don't be scared, always be prepared. This, in turn, could bring about a very chaotic situation of looting and other crimes taking place while the lights are out in this big city in the United States. Cyber attacks are also going to bring about discussions and, of course, more legislation, friends. More legislation of some sort that we will have to be very mindful of and step up and call our local congressmen and tell them no. We don't want that, to ensure that they're not going to be stripping away more and more of our rights in the process, or giving them more of an ability to track our every move, like they don't do so already, like they need to do so even more so, and that is their goal. Including, we need to say no to their digital ID system that the WEF and many others are already pushing out. Something that, if it were initiated, it would be something that you would need to have in order to access the internet at all. And God knows what else as time progresses. That ID is going to limit you from all kinds of things. So we must be the resistance. Overall, cyber attacks are going to become a major problem with so much talk of cyber attacks in mass media throughout 2025 and beyond. There is going to be huge disruptions when it comes to the Senate meetings, and big arguments, disagreements, angry politicians, and even some stepping out completely in protest. Something I've seen in past visions, and now I'm getting this stronger and stronger, which indicates that it is certainly approaching during this current administration in the United States. And it's not just going to be us witnessing tensions rise in governments in the United States. We're going to see tensions rising in governments and parliaments around the globe. Protests outside of parliaments, especially Australia, the UK. It's going to be interesting. But right now, we're focused on what's happening during the Trump administration. If you want more on predictions and prophecy, be sure to tune in every Tuesday for Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time, where we talk about world events, how they relate or may not relate to predictions and prophecy, with new predictions each and every week. So if you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, and you want to vibe with our tribe, be sure to smash that there subscribe, friends. Economic ups and economic downs. And right now we're seeing the economic ups taking a turn with the highest markets, gold hitting its highest. But how long do you think that's going to last, friends? What goes up must come down. And this year is going to be a rocky year for the markets, which you can end up making a ton of money for yourself with different things, especially even in crypto, as long as you get out before it all falls, because there will be a fall of Bitcoin coming up within the next few years, probably this year, by the end of this year, when all the other economic systems start to crash down. We will see some of these cryptos, like XRP, skyrocket in turn afterwards. And there'll be a new Bitcoin in the future, battling side by side with Bitcoin, according to Spirit. I'm thinking that's probably XRP. That would be my easy, intuitive guess. We'll have to tune into that a little bit more later. But a fall of the markets, and in turn, there's going to be something new put into place, of course. It's part of the plan, friends. It's part of the global elite's plan. Except there's going to be major debates over this new currency. Major debates. Now we see that Elon Musk, who's in charge of whatever he's in charge of now, wants to do away with the United States penny. Because it costs 3 cents to make a penny. That makes no sense at all. Get it? No sense at all. But he wants to get rid of the penny, and friends, mark my words, soon it'll be the penny, then it'll be the dime, then it'll be all your change that you need to turn in. So check your change, check your dates, because some of that's going to be worth money. And some of it might not be worth money now, but it'll be worth a lot of money later. So hold on to that change, friends. Hold on to that change, especially the pennies, if he's going to do away with the pennies. I'd say that last year pennies are made, which would be, I guess, this year, will end up being the ones worth the most. I got one of the last pennies. Now, going back to the economy, I also see that there's going to be a change and a push to this digital system that we've been talking about for years and years. Now, Spirit told us back in the day, within the past year or two, that there was going to be a new currency backed by a mineral that we would be shocked by. It would be something brilliant that likely comes from artificial intelligence, actually, come to think of it. I was going to say God, but chances are it's artificial intelligence that they are treating like their God. Coming up with this new system, this new mineral-backed currency, and I believe it's going to be United States and the Trump administration that initiates that in the near future. And here's an odd one that I wanted to toss into these predictions for the Trump administration. It goes back to my past predictions, which are and this one's getting stronger and stronger, that something is coming around the Hoover Dam. I've done videos. I think I did a whole video on I don't know if I did that video or not. I have to go back and look, but I think I did a video on the whole symbolism backed around the Freemasons and the whole Hoover Dam, that whole thing. And I've been saying for years, that one of my friends who has prophetic dreams had a whole dream that we interpreted as being the Hoover Dam and some type of an attack on the Hoover Dam. We've been waiting for that. And I stated this again, that I feel that this dam, the Hoover, was literally built for an eventual destruction, for their symbolism behind their Freemasonry stuff. So there could be, very likely, some type of attack coming to the Hoover Dam in 2025 or on the Trump administration's watch between 2025 and 2028. Perhaps a flag that flies ever so falsely, being it was built for eventual destruction. Yeah, I'd say that sounds like something out of a playbook, wouldn't you? Something around that Hoover Dam while the Trump administration is in the White House is definitely going to come into the light. So let's hold in the light that dam stays strong, because that dam busting down would just be a devastation and would affect the drinking water for millions of people on the west coast of the United States. One other little reminder here is that the sleeper cells that have been set up in big cities across the country and in other allied countries, including France, Germany, the United Kingdom, England, and the list goes on. Well, these sleeper cells were put into place for a reason. And they were all put into place during the last administrations, not just in the United States, but other countries. And we've seen these changes of power happening. And I believe they put these cells into place because they knew these changes of power were coming. And that would give them the, piece out of their playbook, so to speak. So again, be aware. Because the large pow and casualty events that are coming that I feel could also be related to that. Let's hope not. Let's hope and hold in the light that the Trump administration locates these sleeper cells before they ever get to activate. Hallelujah. Overall, DT and the Trump administration is here to shake things up like never before, friends. It's all part of what needs to happen on the planet. Doesn't matter whether you like them or not. What we need to like is what the awakening that's going to come from this. He is here to bring out the deep state. And I know it sounds strange because it strangely appears that he's already surrounded by many of those people from that state deep within. Perhaps maybe he's just keeping his friends close and his enemies closer. Perhaps that's it. Or is he really easily being deceived? I highly doubt that. But soon, friends, time will tell. I could go on for hours and hours on predictions around the new administration and the next 4 years of this administration in the United States. Remember, in 4 years, a lot can, and a sure heck of a lot certainly will occur. in the United States that has a ripple effect on the entire world. So remember, friends, to tune in every Tuesday to Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time Predictions Update when we discuss world events and how they may or may not relate to predictions and prophecy with new predictions each and every week. If you enjoyed this content so far, please show me some love. It takes so much time, energy, and effort to put this stuff together for you all, and all I ask is that you hit that thumbs up love button. And if not, don't hit any button at all, but if you're going to hit a button, definitely make it the thumbs up button. And remember, if you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, and you want to vibe with our awesome tribe, smash that subscribe, the bell, all so that you get notifications. And remember, if I don't pop up on your feed by Wednesday, go directly to my channel to make sure you're still subscribed. Unfortunately, people mysteriously become unsubscribed from different channels on YT. Remember, you can find me on other platforms too. And check the description down below for my free newsletter, all my social media platforms. Remember, I will never send you a message privately on any platform, social media platform. If you receive a message that looks like me, it is a scammer. Please report them. You can find more information about myself at my website, josephtittel.com, Tittel, or spiritmanjt.com. And a big thank you to the members of this platform, the members of the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit platform, for making this free content possible for everybody else and all those that contribute to this channel. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. And I hope you enjoyed this content and have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember, friends, like my sign says, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine. Again, have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and much love.